9 minutes. That's how long they said my heart was completely still. 9 minutes without a pulse, without breath, without any sign of life. The doctors would later call it a miracle that I came back at all. But what they can't explain, what no one in that room could understand, is that those 9 minutes felt like an eternity. And what I saw during that time has never left me. Because I wasn't just gone, I was taken somewhere, shown something. And when I came back, I realized with a certainty that still shakes me to my core, the future is not as far away as we think, and what is coming, most people are not ready for. My name is Michael, and before that day, I lived a life that felt ordinary in every possible way. I worked long hours, I worried about bills, I spent time with my family when I could. I wasn't deeply spiritual, but I wasn't completely disconnected either. I believed in God, but my belief was passive, something that existed in the background of my life, not at the center of it. If you had asked me then what I thought happened after death, I would have given you a vague answer, something uncertain. I never imagined I would experience it for myself and come back with something I couldn't ignore. This story is based on a real testimony, but identities have been protected using AI. It happened on a quiet afternoon. There was no warning, no buildup, nothing that suggested my life was about to end. I remember feeling a sudden dizziness, like the world tilted for just a second. Then came the pain, sharp and overwhelming, spreading through my chest like fire. I tried to call out, but my voice wouldn't come. My body went weak, my vision darkened, and within seconds, everything disappeared. But the darkness didn't stay empty. At first, it was complete silence. No thoughts, no sensations, just nothing. And then, slowly, awareness returned. I didn't feel my body, I didn't feel pain, but I knew I existed. I was conscious in a way that felt clearer than anything I had ever experienced before. And then, I realized I wasn't alone. There was a presence, not something I could see with eyes, but something I could feel with absolute certainty. It surrounded me, yet it felt distant at the same time. And with that presence came a strange combination of emotions: peace, fear, awe, all at once. The darkness began to change, giving way to something vast and open. It wasn't a place in the way we understand places, but it felt structured, intentional. And then, without warning, images began to form around me. At first, I thought I was seeing memories, my childhood, my family, moments from my life replaying in vivid detail. But then I realized these weren't just my memories. They were showing me something more, something beyond my past. I was being shown what was ahead. The first thing I saw was the world as it is now, busy, loud, full of movement and distraction, people rushing, chasing, worrying about things that seemed so important in the moment. But as I watched, something began to shift, slowly at first, then faster. I saw division increase, not just between nations, but between people, families breaking apart, friendships dissolving, communities turning against each other. There was a growing tension, like something beneath the surface was building pressure. Then came the fear. Not a single event, not one catastrophic moment, but a series of changes that made the world feel unstable, uncertain. People searching for answers, for security, for something to hold on to. But instead of coming together, many were pulling further apart. And then I was shown something that I still struggle to put into words. Time. Not as numbers, not as seconds or minutes, but as something alive, something moving toward a point that felt inevitable. And the closer it got, the more intense everything became. I felt a deep urgency rising within me, something I couldn't ignore. And then I heard it. You are not prepared. The words weren't harsh, but they carried weight, not just for me, but for everyone. I wanted to understand. I wanted to ask what exactly we weren't prepared for, but before I could, the visions continued. I saw people who had everything the world could offer: success, wealth, recognition, but inside they were empty, lost, searching for meaning in things that couldn't satisfy them. And I saw others, people with very little, but with a depth of peace and purpose that stood in complete contrast. And that's when it became clear. The future I was being shown wasn't just about events, it was about the condition of the human heart. What is coming will reveal what is real and what is not. It will expose what we have built our lives on, whether it's something lasting or something that will collapse under pressure. Then, everything shifted again. I found myself standing, though I still had no physical body, in what felt like a vast open space filled with light. Not blinding, not overwhelming, but pure, alive. And in that light, I felt something I had never truly experienced before: truth. Not opinions, not beliefs, not interpretations. Truth in its raw, undeniable form. And in that moment, I saw myself clearly. Not who I thought I was, but who I actually was. My intentions, my priorities, the things I had valued most. And I realized something that broke me. I had spent so much of my life focused on things that wouldn't matter in the end, things that felt urgent, important, necessary, but in that moment, they seemed small, temporary. And then came the message: clear, direct, impossible to ignore. The future is not meant to be feared, but you must be ready. I felt it settle deep within me, because readiness wasn't about knowing what would happen. It wasn't about preparing in a physical sense. It was about something deeper: alignment. Living in a way that is rooted in truth, in love, in sincerity, letting go of what doesn't matter and holding on to what does. But the moment I began to fully understand, everything started to fade. The light began to pull away, the space around me collapsing into itself, and I felt a force pulling me back, fast, powerful, unstoppable. Then came the impact. Air rushed into my lungs as I gasped violently, my chest burning as my heart slammed back into motion. My body felt heavy, foreign, like I had been forced back into something I no longer recognized. Voices filled the room, loud and chaotic. Someone was shouting, someone else was crying. I was back, alive, but nothing about me was the same. The first thing I said, I didn't think about it, it just came out. We're not ready. The room went silent. They didn't understand, but I did. Since that day, I haven't been able to return to the life I lived before. The things that once consumed my thoughts no longer hold the same weight. The distractions, the worries, the endless chasing, they all feel different now, because I've seen what lies ahead. Not in exact detail, not as a fixed sequence of events, but as a direction, a movement towards something that will test us in ways we are not expecting. And the truth is, it's not about predicting the future. It's about how we choose to live now. Are we living with intention, with honesty, with compassion? Are we building our lives on something real or something that will fall apart when pressure comes? These are the questions that have stayed with me every single day since I came back. And now I'm asking you the same thing. If you knew that the future would reveal everything, your priorities, your values, your truth, would you be ready? Or would you realize too late that you spent your time chasing things that never truly mattered? Don't wait for a moment like mine to start asking those questions. Don't wait until everything stops to understand what really counts. If this story stayed with you, if it made you feel something deeper, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment and tell me what you think, because your perspective matters more than you realize. And if you want more stories that challenge the way you see life, death, and everything in between, make sure you like this video and subscribe, because in the end, the future may not be as distant as it feels, and the only question that truly matters is, will you be ready?